a moment. I just want to thank everyone for joining us this morning for this tragedy that has happened in our city. We are going to have comments from a few council members. We're also going to have comments from Bishop Gibson. After that, we will have a question and answer period. The tragic killing of Kadir Skinner by a Wilmington police officer has shaken our city. I extend my deepest condolences to his family, his friends, and everyone who is mourning this heartbreaking loss. Across Wilmington, we are grieving. We are angry, we are frustrated, and we are suspicious. We are demanding answers. And these feelings are real, they are understandable, and they deserve to be acknowledged, not ignored. In moments like these, leadership matters. Silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty erodes public trust. Our residents deserve to know that their leadership sees their pain, hears their concerns, and are committed to pursuing the truth. I also want to be very candid about the role of City Council during this process. This is not a City Council-led investigation. We are not directing the investigation whatsoever, nor do we have access to all of the facts or evidence. Unfortunately, we do not have any pertinent information that we can share with the public at this time. And I know that is frustrating, but many of us on council share that frustration. Because like the community, we are also waiting for answers. But we are here today because we want our community to know that we care. And this is why it is so important for our mayor to speak directly to the people of Wilmington, not through a written press release and not through Facebook. And no one is asking for the mayor to compromise an active investigation or disclose information that cannot be legally released. But the people deserve to hear their mayor acknowledge this tragedy, recognize their pain, and the concerns that exist throughout our neighborhoods. Simply acknowledging the moment matters. Demanding accountability is not the same as rushing to judgment. Every investigation must be thorough, independent, and fair. But it also must be transparent, timely, and conducted in a manner that gives the public confidence that justice will be pursued wherever the facts lead. The people of Wilmington deserve more than promises. They deserve openness. They deserve honest communication, and they deserve accountability from every institution entrusted with protecting our community. As president of Wilmington City Council, I will continue to press for a complete and transparent investigation and will work with my colleagues on council to ensure that every appropriate question is asked and answered. While council cannot conduct this investigation, we can and we will continue to demand accountability, transparency, and regular communication with the public. But this responsibility does not rest with the government alone. And while I respectfully call upon our mayor to address the people of Wilmington without further delay, I also call upon every elected official, every faith leader, every community organization, every civil rights organization, and every civic leader to step forward and speak to this moment. Our community needs leadership, visible leadership, not silence. This is not a time for private conversations behind closed doors, while the public is left wondering whether anyone hears their pain. This is a time for leaders to stand together, to publicly acknowledge the hurt and frustration that so many residents are experiencing, and to reaffirm our collective commitment to justice, transparency, and accountability. Leadership is not measured by what is said in private meetings. Leadership is measured by the willingness to stand before the public during difficult moments, to acknowledge their pain, and to assure them that their voices matter. I urge all of you to continue to demand answers, to continue to hold your government accountable, and continue to do so in a way that keeps our community safe. The family deserves answers. The community deserves transparency. This investigation must be thorough and independent. Every leader must have the courage to speak. And the people of Wilmington deserve leadership that is visible, accountable, and present in this moment. Thank you. At this time, we're going to hear from Council Member, I believe, Xanthia Oliver. Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you, President Congo. I'm Councilwoman Xanthia Oliver. The incident occurred in the 3rd District. It's very disappointing. It's an area that is a hotspot area that we have been requesting for coverage, police coverage out there for months, major lighting out there for months. Our hearts go with the Skinner family along with 4 other young black men who have been shot in the last 7 days. So as President Congo stated, we do expect the mayor, the chief, to come out and just say something, even if they can't give the full information, because we work under state law, but they do have the ability to do something and say something. Council members have been talking about a press conference for over a week now when it first occurred. I want to give credit to Pastor D. I want to give credit to Justin Wright, who's always worked on gun violence in the city of Wilmington, and all other elected officials out here who care for this topic. Mr. Skinner should be here today. The DOJ's investigation must run its course fully and independently, but it's bigger than one case. It's about whether Wilmington families get real answers when something like this happens. The problem, Delaware Law Enforcement Office, a Bill of Rights, keeps disciplinary use of force records hidden from the public, even when families directly affect families that it shouldn't, to take accountability on faith. What we're calling for is public access to police discipline and use of force records, a clear timeline for release of body cam footage, independent review of use of force incidents, regular public reporting on complaints and discipline, direct, timely communication with victims and families. Our records, Council introduced the labor reform legislation in 2022, which Councilman Chris Johnson has been working on for some time with the state legislators. It was weakened at the state legislators level. We haven't stopped and we won't. We will continue to push reform. Closing, accountability protects good officers, protect the public. We owe the Skinner family, as well as the other young men, black young men who have been shot in the system, to build transparency, not trust. In 2003, I held a gun press conference because I believe that guns must be put down. The guns are coming from somewhere and they're not coming from our communities. Many people said they're coming from corner stores. I don't know where they're coming from, but it's too easy for a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, 18-year-old to get a gun. They're not going in the stores and putting up their license. Most of them don't even have license that this is occurring because they're under 15. Where are we getting the guns from? This is a bigger problem that needs to be discussed. But I'm glad everybody's here to hear what we have to say. But I do get frustrated because everybody says city council, city council. You have state legislators. You have Stephanie Bowden. You have a lot of them. That this is under their telephone numbers, 302-744-4114. State legislators can do much more than they're doing. I didn't mean just to call her name, but I'm saying call your state legislators. We are here and we're on the ground. We do a lot of work, But a lot of this information, the reform comes from the state legislators. And thank you so much. Next is Council Member Yolanda McCourt, who is the Chair of Public Safety.
Good morning. So again, I just wanted to make certain that we give condolences to the Skinner family. Okay, I'm not certain which one is on. I said, once again, I wanted to make certain that we gave condolences to the Skinner family and all those that are in the community that witnessed this tragic event. So we just want to let you know that we heard your concerns, the residents, and that a written statement alone was not enough. While we were working to encourage a broader response from administration, valuable time passed. Looking back, we should have stepped up a little earlier, that we could have assured our community that we saw their pain. And that's exactly the reason why we're here today. Our residents deserve both compassion and communication. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. As the chair of the Public Safety Committee, I'm committed to ensuring that we learn from this moment. I'll be working with my colleagues and our public safety partners to establish a clearer communication policy for incidents involving serious harm to Wilmington residents. The goal is simple: to ensure that while protecting the integrity of investigations, our community hears from its leaders in a timely and compassionate, consistent way. Thank you so much for coming out. I am so proud of the city of Wilmington for making certain that their voices were heard. We are here, we heard you, and thank you for your patience, because it took a minute for us to get ourselves collectively together to say enough is enough. We cannot wait on administration. We have to say something ourselves. So I just wanted to give it up. I wanted to give it up to Wilmington and also make certain I introduce our next speaker, Councilwoman Darby.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Councilmember Sinead Darby. I am the council chair member of the Intergovernmental Committee. Today, I stand before you as a mother and someone who deeply loves this city. I stand before you angry. I stand before you heartbroken. And if I'm being honest, I stand before you feeling hopeless. Not because I believe change is impossible, but because for years we have known what needed to be done. And every time we have had opportunities to act, our government has chosen delay over action. Another young man has died. Another family has had their lives changed forever. Another community has been traumatized. And once again, we are standing behind microphones, demanding accountability after tragedy instead of building accountability before tragedy. I want everyone watching to imagine something. This was said in the press conference with the family. You're 19 years old, 19. You're running, you get shot in the back, you get shot in the back again. You're lying on the ground seriously injured. Then you get handcuffed. Then they said he was dragged, he was dropped, and then he was picked back up and placed into a police vehicle. Then they said the officers collected shell casings from the scene. These are accounts that members of our community have shared publicly and that have left many people in Wilmington heartbroken, angry, and searching for answers. That sounds like a hunt, like a deer. They treated him like an animal. That was somebody's baby. My oldest daughter turns 19 this year. Legally, we call them adults, but every parent knows better. They're still figuring life out. They're still making mistakes. They're still calling home. They're still somebody's child. When I heard what members of this community said they witnessed, I immediately thought of my own 18-year-old daughter. Every parent should ask themselves one question: what if that had been my child? That question should not depend on what happened, depend on what your child was accused of doing. Every human being deserves dignity once they are wounded and in police custody. And there's one more thing I cannot stop thinking about. While this family is grieving the loss of their child, the officer involved has been placed on administrative leave, which is often paid, while an investigation is pending. One family is planning a funeral instead of planning a future. One family is making burial arrangements instead of celebrating another birthday. And I heard his birthday was just a few days, probably about 45 days ago. I cannot imagine receiving that phone call. I cannot imagine identifying my child. I cannot imagine planning a funeral for my 18, 19-year-old daughter. I cannot imagine the sleepless nights, the fear, the anger, the trauma, the heartbreak. Just thinking about it makes me sick to my stomach. No parent should ever have to bury their child. No family should ever have to experience this pain. This tragedy did not happen in isolation. This is simply not about one officer. This is simply not about one shooting. This is a result of years of failing to invest in things that actually make communities safer. That's transparency, accountability, meaningful police reform, affordable housing, quality public education, maternal and infant health, violence prevention, mental health, economic opportunity, and living wages, and a cost of living that working families can actually afford. Public safety is not just about policing. Public safety begins with stable housing. It begins with quality schools. It begins with healthy mothers and healthy babies. It begins with neighborhoods that have opportunity. When government fails to invest in people, we should not be surprised when our communities continue to struggle. For years, City Council has overwhelmingly approved increasing funding for the Wilmington Police Department. We approved larger budgets. We approved their grants. We approved their new equipment. We approved surveillance technology. We approved new drones. When the police department came asking for resources, council overwhelmingly said yes. But when it came time to hold the administration accountable for implementing meaningful police reform, we failed y'all. And I'm sorry. And I included in this council in that criticism. For 6 years I've been on council, we have failed this community by not demanding implementation. Leadership, we can blame the state, we can blame the mayor. City council has a role in this, and we failed you. Leadership is not measured by what we say after tragedy. Leadership is measured by what we do before a tragedy. I'm also deeply disappointed that City Council itself, we haven't been effectively locked out of information. I found out about this shooting because of community people. We are being locked out. They're not answering our emails. They're not communicating with us, so we have been locked out. And you think it's supposed to be an equal branch of government as we celebrate 250 years of independence and those white men created the Declaration of Independence. We're supposed to have equal protection. We were not properly notified that the shooting occurred. Council members were learning information alongside community through social media, news reports, and community members. That is unacceptable. This legislative branch cannot provide meaningful oversight if it's treated as an afterthought. Transparency should begin immediately. Following the killing of Jeremy McDowell, Wilmington promised reform. We had a Jeremy McDowell police reform package which was developed to strengthen transparency, accountability, officer training, civilian oversight, and public trust. Many of those recommendations remain unfinished today. For both of my terms on City Council, I have introduced resolutions urging the administration to commission an independent external assessment of the Wilmington Police Department. Carlton Myers, who was one of the guys that I reached out to, he's an attorney on the national end who goes to different cities and states and does police reform. He developed a comprehensive proposal for us already. Talked about independently examining hiring, promotions, officer discipline, use of force policies. His proposal also includes community listening sessions and public recommendations. Mr. Myers met both with the Przicki administration and has been introduced to the Carney administration. He met individually with council members. He participated in small group meetings. He answered questions. In 2025, last year, I requested again that he was present in the Public Safety Committee. That was denied. So I had to, rather than allowing the proposal to disappear, I invited him to present at my committee, the Intergovernmental, and the administration could directly hear from him. The proposal was presented, questions have been answered, the consultant has been identified, the information has been available, but what has been missing is the political will to act. During my first term, I was told this would happen and never happened. During my second term, despite another council resolution urging implementation, the proposal has been largely ignored. Enough. I plan on having a special committee meeting next week where we're going to hold the administration accountable to publicly explain why this proposal has not been implemented. Carlton Myers, the guy from the who would do the police reform and the company he's with, will answer questions. We have a Wilmington police scorecard. We will review the Jeremy McDowell reform package, and we will discuss how we do implementation. We don't need another study, another delay. We need actual implementation. I also want to recognize the Wilmington Community Police Accountability Board. Its members have spent months building this board, and today I'm demanding that the board publicly join this effort by adopting a resolution urging the administration to immediately implement the external assessment. Today, the people of Wilmington are demanding three things. First, we are demanding an independent investigation into this officer-involved shooting by an entity independent of the Wilmington Police Department. Second, we are demanding that Mayor John Carney immediately implement the independent external assessment of the Wilmington Police Department and work with City Council to complete the remaining legislative recommendations contained within the Jeremy McDowell Police Reform Package. Third, we are demanding the timely release of the body-worn camera footage as soon as it can be legally released. The community should not have to beg for transparency. Transparency should be the standard. I also need to address the mayor's public statement. Quite frankly, I found it unacceptable. I found it disconnected from the pain this community is experiencing. The city is asking residents to provide videos and evidence, but they won't. If the government expects transparency from the people, why isn't the government demanding the same transparency from itself? Where is the public demand for the release of the body cam footage as soon as the law allows? Transparency can't be a one-way street, Mr. Mayor. Finally, Wilmington, elections have consequences. Every elected official should be judged by what they do and not what they say. Government works for the people. The Wilmington Police Department works for the people. The mayor works for the people. City Council works for the people. We are your employees, not your rulers. When trust is broken, government has an obligation to earn it back through transparency, accountability, courage, action. Not another meeting, not another promise, not another tragedy, actions. How many more shootings? How many grieving more mothers, aunties, dads do we need out here? How many more fathers burying their children? How many more funerals? How many more promises? The people of Wilmington deserve better. Before I leave this podium, I want us to remember why we're here. Jeremy McDowell, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray, Walter Scott, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Michael Brown. The list can go on of black women and black men who have been killed at the hands of police, and we sit here and we do nothing. So I'm not blaming the state. We failed you. City Council failed you. We had a whole proposal for someone to do, and look at our police department. We did nothing around police reform. So the people of Wilmington are no longer asking for accountability. We are demanding it. I want to say thank you. I love you, Wilmington, and I'm going to continue to put pressure. I'm going to continue to hold them accountable. I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to hold my colleagues accountable. And something has to happen, not like today. It needs to happen. The administration needs to actually put money into implementing this external audit and independent investigation and the release of that body cam footage. Thank you. Sorry. Kobe Owens. Councilmember Kobe Owens, 1st District, and he's the chair of the Health, Environmental, Aging, and Disability Committee. Yes.
Thank you all for being here today. First off, I want to start by saying my heart is with the family of Mr. Skinner. Yet another black man here in Wilmington. Yet another black man here in Wilmington is dead. I've been behind these podiums before. We've been in the courtrooms before. We've been in these situations before. Time and time again, there's always an excuse that is made for why change cannot come about. We saw it in 2020. We saw it after the death of Lamont Moses. We saw it after the death of Jeremy McDowell. We saw it after the shooting that we have seen up and down this state. But right here in Wilmington, our community was broken just a few days ago. Calling for accountability, calling for action to be done, that's not saying that we don't like the police officers. We're saying that when we as a government give someone a gun and a badge, that they should be held to a higher standard. That they should protect our community, regardless of your skin color. They should not be the judge, jury, and executioner. A young man can no longer go home. A grieving mother and father can no longer hug their son. Aunts, uncles, cousins have a hole left in their heart right now. We call for justice. We call for transparency. We call for accountability. But none of that is going to happen if the community does not come together and stand on the side of righteousness and justice. We as a council have to stand up, because this is not, the first district is not my seat. The second district is not Councilwoman Darby's seat. These are not our seats. These are the people's seats. We should be representing Wilmington. The mayor's office needs to work in collaboration with the equal body, the legislative body. It is time for true reform to happen here in the city of Wilmington. Over the next few weeks, we need to come up with policies that actually reform our police department and clearly state when body-worn camera should be released to our community. And you can do that without compromising an investigation. You can show the community what truly happened. That is what this is about. We've heard from faith leaders. We've heard from family members. We've heard from community members. Everyone wants to see the video. The family deserves an opportunity to know what happened to their son, to their cousin, to their grandson, to their nephew. Wilmington, I love y'all. I have faith in y'all. But I need each and every one of you to continue to speak up, speak out. Because we can no longer go along with business as usual. And no, this isn't going to be a sprint to the finish line. This is going to be a marathon for justice. It's going to take some time. But let me be very clear. Don't let this moment go. Turn that grief into a movement of justice. One that holds all 13 members of council accountable. As you can see, it's 10 of us here today. So I hope when a legislative package come up that is going to make our police accountability here in Wilmington better, I hope we have at least 10 votes. But also, let's be honest, there are people who aren't here, who aren't standing with you right now. And they have made it very clear they will never do that. So let's stand together as a community. Let's make sure we get justice for Mr. Skinner, a young teenager shot in the back. Let's make sure that the body-worn camera is released. And let's make sure that the list that we have here in Wilmington, Delaware, does not continue to grow like we have seen over the last few years. At this time, I'll bring up Chris Johnson, council member from the 7th District.
I can't begin to say just how much my heart goes out for the family. But what I want to do, my councilwoman Darby put it the best way, there's a lot we got to do. But I want to break things down to a small bite right now. But in the next 72 hours, the police department needs to at least let the Skinner family and their representatives see the body-worn camera. That is currently permitted by state law. That is allowed right now. They could go in today and view it. So I understand the public and the media should have a right, but at the very least, the Skinner family should have the right to see the body-worn camera. That's the one simple thing. We talk about policy change, we talk about Dover, but I can break it down really easy. The family, they need to be able to see it. The representatives need to be able to see it. It may be heart-wrenching, but they at least deserve that chance. So that's the one thing. If we walk away today, we are demanding action right now. Within the next 72 hours, that they be able to at least see the body-worn camera. So several of us have already talked with the administration about this, and it's something we're pressing right now to give you something that we can do as a community right now, demand that action right now. So that's all I want to leave you with, and we're going to have some community members as well. And a special shout out to former Councilwoman Sherry Dorsey. She was the first, along with Council President, to introduce body-worn camera in the state. So I appreciate their efforts, and we continue fighting on. Thank you, Sherry.
Next, we have Bishop Gibson.
Good morning to you all. Thank you, President Trippy, for assembling us together, not only to speak truth to power, but also to come together, and also for us to come together in a time of crisis. Dr. Martin Luther King said, peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at the goal. I cannot begin to tell you how exhausted I am as a preacher when it comes to eulogizing our young kings and queens. The asphalt jungle is painted with the blood of our offspring. The climate is laden with crime and chaos and calamity. And just yesterday when I was in my office talking to Sherry Dorsey while we were discussing what was going on with the Skinner family, there was another shooting on one of the sites where my young people were. They were in a building that they were working on contractually, hiding on the second floor while 30 rounds of shots were being shot down in the streets of our city. When you're no longer an apparent threat, the narrative switch. You become the victim and the casualty, drowning in your own blood. Shot in the back, handcuffed, restricted, fighting for your life is by no means any means of justice or any means of what a police officer should be doing. Justice must be served, accountability and transparency must be demonstrated. Our hoods and blackness have been targeted and profiled for far too long. I'm going to ask that all of us find a way to bring about peace to our communities, speak peace to one another. Let's stop sowing seeds of discord and pointing fingers, but come together collectively as a community and a commonwealth. This is happening in real time on our watch, and we must come together and strategize and change systems through legislation. We're in a community, a city, and a county that is in crisis. It's time to be serious about the solution for all. Thank you again, Trippy Congo and the City Council for speaking up and standing tall. Let us be the bridge for the greater community, and let's make a difference. We're better together, but we have to put our egos aside for a minute so that our future can be preserved. We're in this game called life, and the goalposts and the rules are still being changed right in the midst of the game. But we've been here before. We're not new to this, as Sherry would say. We're true to this. I still believe that a saved city is a safe city. The scriptures simply say, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, and present your request to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds and keep you in perfect peace through Christ Jesus our Lord. We're praying not only for the family, but for the community, that God would embrace them as a hen husbands over her brood, and that peace will be our portion in all that we do and all that we say. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here.
So again, I want to thank you for joining us today. this time we will attempt to have a question and answer period, but as many of you know, this is not a city council-led investigation, but we're here to try to just be as open and transparent as we can with you.
So the city mayor's office said that they reached out to Wanda McCoy and explained to her shortly after the shooting what had happened, or at least they reached out to her. Is there anything that she can say about what they actually said to her?
Yes, I will give her the opportunity to answer that question, but there are 13 of us on council, and for all 13 of us not to have been given a call or some type of communication about what happened, I think that's unexplainable. But I'll let.
Before you go, yeah, they did say
Yes.
they sent a message out on Nextel, which is, I guess, the electronic thing.
No, I think something like happens like this, there deserves to be one-on-one communication, not an email, not a text. We should have been called and updated.
Yes. No. Yes, so I think the question was whether or not I was contacted. Yes, I was. So actually, I received a call maybe about 1:45 in the morning from the chief making me aware of what happened. I next then reached out to the council person of that district. Of course, it was very late, so they did not respond until the next morning to find out whether or not they knew what was actually going on. I had been in contact with the administration, making them aware, like, where is the communication. They then stated that it was on Nixon. And I had to make them aware that everyone is not prescribed or on that list for Nixon. And so I felt as though we need, as I stated, a lot of council people were trying to reach out to them to get a broader response. Like, we needed to see you in front of a camera, making certain. I said, this is something that's police involved. I said, you wanted to hide out or whatever when it comes to whatever's happening with safety regularly in our city, which is something that we are trying to address with all of the different types of programs that we're doing. But this is something that police are involved in, and we needed to make certain that we got in front of it. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I am glad that, President Congo did reach out, because we were planning to do something, and we just basically collaborated and put everything together, because it took too long for us to get here.
Question to anybody: does anybody know if the mayor is in his office still? Like, if he's willing to address the public and say at least something, because his office is like 100 feet away from us.
Yeah. I'm sorry, actually, I did not go to check to see whether or not he was in the office today. I came straight here.
Well, not you.
Oh.
I'm talking to everybody.
Oh, okay.
Everybody
I don't
working in
think
the
he's
office
here
at the
today. And his car
Oh,
is
okay.
parked right here.
This is an indication that the mayor or the police chief have even seen the video themselves. But I can't get an answer on that. If they actually watched the video, and they told you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't. I'm not sure. Common sense would say yes, that they have seen it, but they haven't shared any details with us about anything. Yes, sir.
Many people have said that a lot of the problem here is a lot of the demands are illegal, given the law enforcement officer's Bill of Rights, independent investigation, getting public access to the evidence of the body cam footage, and Councilmember Oliver mentioned one of the state representatives of Wilmington in Dover. Have you guys been in touch with Stephanie Bolden, Navi Chikwocha, Franklin Cook, Darius Brown, the people who represent the city of Dover, who scuttled that 2003 reform package? Has anybody in council been in touch with your colleagues in Dover to ask them why they scuttled the package in 2003 and how to bring it back up next term?
Yeah, I haven't personally since the tragedy, but yes, we have addressed that through council over the term.
Because as Councilmember Darby said, elections are coming up.
Right.
And many of the state representatives and senators who scuttled the Obor reform 3 years ago, there's the reason we're standing here, and we can't get an independent investigation,
Right.
we can't get body-worn camera footage, and we can't get the governor or the mayor, out here to talk about it, because your colleagues in Dover don't care.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. That it seems like it's a fact that the police department is so protected that it is counteractive to what the community needs. So that's a lot of what Councilwoman Darby and all of us have been fighting for more transparency. But Leobor has been a tragedy for our community.
Can you reiterate what you think is reasonable timing for body camera footage to be released and the order in which people should be able to see it?
Personally, I think it should have been released immediately. I don't I don't see, but again, I'm not in that lane, but I don't see the reason for it almost being a week later and no body camera footage has been released. I think it should have been released immediately. I think that would have quieted a lot of the concern and the anger and the suspiciousness that our community has right now. Yes.
Yeah, I do have something I want to say. Yes, I have left messages for our state representatives, and I haven't received a call. Secondly, myself and Councilman Chris Johnson did speak with the chief last night, and he assured us that he is going to release the body cams. He's going to allow the family and their representative to review the body cam. And Krista, he said within 24 hours. Or he didn't give a time, but he did say last night. We called him on the telephone. He answered the phone, and Chris said whatever he said to him about releasing. It's important that he releases the body cams, at least to the family and the representatives. And he said he plans on doing that. So he did say that last night, but he didn't give a time frame.
And also, just to follow up, those body cams were paid for by the public. They should be accessible to the public. So again, there's no excuse for the body camera footage to have not been released.
Why do we have to put cameras on people that are supposed to protect us?
So I have a
Pastor D,
request.
yes. Hold on, everyone, please.
Two, one, Kadir is a child of two Wilmington families. Two Wilmington families. The Dollards and the Skinners are historic Wilmington families.
Yes, they are.
And I would suggest that as we advocate, I realize his last name is Skinner, but there are both families, there are a lot of members of the family. That's right. Okay. And there are a lot of people hurting in two families. When we say that we want to help the family, I would ask that we start referring to it as, Skinner and Dollar family. That we continue to do that because those are the two families that have impacted. Secondarily, I would request that as we go on television and such and discuss things relating to this particular case, and I'm addressing this in particular to Bishop Gibson with respect to his interview on television, that you not do that without a member of the family present and approving of what you're saying. Because what we do, and I know what our intent is good, but we go on and we do harm when we're on there to their case, when we talk about what we think we know as it relates to what took place. So I'm suggesting that if we're going to go on television and say things about the case and about the situation, a member or someone appointed by those families should be present and approve of what's being done, because this is a sensitive time. And finally, to our young people who are posting pictures of Kadir and what have you, please cease. Everybody should cease with posting information, comments, what have you. I believe the family has secured legal counsel. They should be who the family has appointed to be the spokesperson to the community, because the government will extract those pictures from those videos and use them to describe him as a person that needed to be shot. So I'm urging us, in particular leaders, please, be careful of your words when you do these interviews and how you speak about the community and how the people reacted and what have you. Because that community reacted in a dignified way. They reacted, those who came and supported the family, they came peacefully. They did not advocate for violence. They did not advocate for anything. And we must be careful when we describe them in the media.
Thank you.
All right, we're taking two more. Go ahead.
I want to ask a question.
We got one right here first.
I just wanted to find out, because I've been an avid, outspoken person of the corruption in the city. And I've also been an avid person to put you down. And I want to say thank you for stepping up. We've had our conversations in the past, but thank you for stepping up. But what can we do? Because I have been calling out corruption for over 5 years. I have been prosecuted by a judge for speaking out on the corruption. I have been thrown in jail. I've never been in trouble a day in my life. I've had police running my home with fake search warrants. What can the people do to rebuild trust back with you guys? Because I have lost all faith. You guys, I have lost faith with the churches, but not God. But what can we do to restore the trust back in the community with you guys, with the police, and just be more of a community? Because I've been labeled crazy for the last 5 years, and I've been calling out, you know me very well, and I've been calling out what has been being done to our community. And it's not only the police, it's judges, it's DAs, it's prosecutors, and yes, we're here for you, dear, but I'm actually calling out the system for a long time. And Skinner, we're here for you, justice for all. And we have not had the voice to speak out, and if we speak out against this,
They said to wrap it up.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
So I got a valid question.
She asked a valid question.
So
what can you do? She asked, what can we do to change the relationship between the police and government? And that's a valid question.
Right. I think that starts on our end, honestly. And in this case specifically, it starts with more openness, more communication, and absolutely releasing that body cam footage to everyone as soon as possible.
All right, that wraps up the
Oh, no, we're good.
So as a retired police officer myself, right? I understand that there's an investigation that goes on, and there's a bunch of police officers that were involved, so they have to investigate everybody. But what happened to the mayor acknowledging what happened in our city?
Where is the mayor?
Wilmington, when the shots rang out at the hospital,
Same thing.
he was right there to speak up. Now, he has nothing to say. That's ridiculous and it's disgusting. Where's Carney?
I agree. I agree. Any other questions?
I just want to say something. I am Kadir Skinner's cousin and his godmom. I really don't, like, y'all can hear my voice. I just want to clear
Stay right here.
my family's name, okay? Kadir, y'all don't know him. Y'all didn't know him. He was not that kid, okay? Y'all really, our families, the Dollards and the Skinners, just like they all said, the Skinners, oh my God, I had a meltdown because if y'all only knew, back in the day, if it was the back in the day Skinners, we would have tore this city up, okay? We would have tore it up. Kadir was that kid that was trying to avoid. He was trying to clear the Skinner and Dollar name at the same time. Y'all don't know he sent his aunt a message 2 months before and said, Auntie, I'm going to, I can't remember the words directly, but basically make our names, erase the bad that our ancestors did, and make our names known. This ain't how he wanted to do it, but best believe his name is going to go down. Okay, y'all going to remember his name. The city of the Wilmington, the police department, that street in front of that building need to be renamed to Kadir Skinner. Okay? They can rename any other ones. Where are the clapping and all that? They can rename any other goddamn name in a city that didn't mean shit to nobody. Okay? They can rename that. They killed my baby. They killed him. Nothing requires to be 3 shots in the back. 3 shots in the back. And dragged like a fucking dog and thrown in a car now. And I wasn't the one that wanted to speak on this. I promise y'all I didn't. But God was, my dad. My dad said, Popeye, fuck him.
Since y'all are talking about bringing the death penalty back, would it be possible that the officers would be on that list as well? So, like, those who kill innocent people, that the death penalty
Yeah, that would be a question for the state. That would be a question for the state. Right. So at this time, we are going to conclude the press conference. We want to thank everyone again. Please stay connected with each other, stay caring and loving on one another. Thank you.
And of course, they bring the black man and deliver the speech to the black people.
Thank you, Trippy. Y'all did it.